Hello and welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all of you are doing amazing out there, taking care of yourselves and loving yourselves as much as possible. I wanted to make this a quick episode because I'm actually in the middle of a transition right now. I'm moving away to a different area, and this is actually something I haven't told too many friends and family. So this is kind of just very sudden news for everyone, including myself. So I'm gonna make this a quick episode because I'm kind of in the middle of kind of getting rid of a lot of things right now, but I will share all of that stuff with you down the line. I was gonna do this episode on listing the topics that were brought in or emailed in. I think that's I'm so thankful for all those topics and everything that was sent in. But as I was kind of listing them, I realized that I didn't really feel like what was needed to be said in this moment. So I will still, I have this list right here in front of me, and I will maybe list it at the end of it. But as I was kind of looking at these topics and going through the emails and realizing or like putting together this list from what you sent in, I realized that there are so many people that are dealing with the same things, or thinking about the same things and feeling the same things about a lot of these things that are being dealt with. And as these topics are kind of like merging on one another, as people are sharing their experiences and their stories and the things that they're going through, I realize that there is this connection that's so much deeper than many of us may understand. And it's something that I didn't recognize until starting this podcast. As you send in these emails, as I see these different stories from different people from all different types of places, I'm hearing these stories that are so in sync with one another. And this is only a small portion of the population. I mean, if I'm getting, like just to think research or scientifically, if I'm getting a sample of this magnitude, of this diversity, and there's this much similarity happening between them as far as just the things that are wanting to be spoken about, the things that people are passionate about, the things that are most meaningful to people. As I'm seeing that these are a lot of conversations and topics that different people are wanting to have, I'm realizing that this connection is so much deeper than many people may realize. And as we kind of focus on that and realize that, even if we're not seeing the thoughts or seeing like the expressions that are telling us that this other person is thinking about the same thing we are, as we kind of realize that there's this diversity in the world, and even though we see this external diversity, there's still this longing, there's still this calling for something more, this reaching for something more, like something more. It's something that all of you feel it, and I know that all of you feel it because I'm seeing it in these messages. And as we kind of own that idea and can feel that resonance within ourselves and within others, we can just start having more compassion in the world. We can start having more compassion for one another. I mean, there are so many chaotic things happening in the world, and we realize in those moments of compassion that, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That's horrible. Like I would never wish that upon anyone. And you don't even know those people. You don't know any of those people, yet there's compassion there. There's a realization at a deeper level that there's love that you want to have for these people. There's a connection that's there that's making this something that's so painful. And as we realize that even in the most mild circumstances, it doesn't have to be extreme circumstances where people are being persecuted or killed or impoverished. Like, it doesn't have to be that extreme for us to realize that even everyday things like the stresses of work and the stresses of living, the stresses of worry and doubt and fear, all these things that we subtly walk around the world with, there are other people that are driving next to us, walking next to us, that we're saying hello to, and I'm just fine too, that are dealing with these same things, that are feeling these same things. And of course it's going to be in a different degree than you're feeling, but as we kind of realize that everything is okay, but also everyone's not dealing with things okay, and everyone's not feeling okay, that is something we can hold on to, we can carry with us to have more compassion for that person that we're driving in traffic with, that we can give a smile to that person that we feel is typically angry or maybe seems standoffish, because maybe they're standoffish and they're angry for a reason. Maybe they're angry for the same reasons that you're quiet. There are so many different expressions that we have in our lives for the things that we're dealing with. And as we kind of go through our lives, we can start realizing this diversity not only in the external world, but also in the internal world, and how the expression of what's happening internally is going to be very different than what you're experiencing. And if we look past the physical manifestation or the physical expression of those things and feel in that deeper place, that connection that's always there, then we can realize and we can walk around and we can be with one another in a compassionate way, in an understanding way, in a way that's more pleasing for us as well. Because if we're not walking around angry and upset with the world saying that, oh, that person is an asshole, or, oh, like those people are just selfish and greedy, or that person is just, whatever it may be, if you stop looking at other people in that way and just say, maybe this person is dealing with something, or is blinded by something, or is not aware of something, and that's causing them to express it in this way. Or maybe they're dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with, and that is just the way that they know how to express it. Maybe they want happiness in their life just like I want happiness, but they feel as though the greed and selfishness, or maybe hatred or anger, is the way to get there. Everyone wants to feel good. Everyone wants to have a good life in some way, to feel understood, to feel known, to feel like they're doing something that they're meant to be doing. Like everything that people are doing in some kind of way, even if it's something that is violent and terrible. I mean, that's just the extreme form of anger. It's like, someone can yell in traffic and start flipping the bird to the person that's in front of them, or like cut them off. I mean, that's very angry, and that seems to be more acceptable. But other people have more extreme forms of anger, things that they've seen growing up. Maybe they grew up to more than just someone cutting them off and screaming negative things to them. Maybe they grew up around shooting and violence and just aggression in a very deadly way. And that's what they know. So just as you know that anger that causes you to blurt out those things, maybe what they know is something that seems more extreme, but for them it's, hey, I grew up around this. I grew up around people shooting guns. Well, I grew up around people cursing and pointing the bird at people in front of me. It's like we come from different backgrounds, we come from different circumstances, we come from different upbringings, but we want the same things. We want the same things, and as misguided as ways may seem, as unfortunate as directions may seem, or paths may seem, there's this wanting that we have for very similar things. And again, as I looked at these topics and as I heard these conversations and read these stories and looked at this connection that was being presented right in front of me, I realized that we want so many of the same things. And as we realize that, there's so many boundaries that we can just let go of, so many restrictions that we can let go of within ourselves, and judgments that we can let go of in ourselves, to say that it's okay. It's okay that I have expressed in this way. It's okay that I've felt this way. It's okay that I've walked this path in this way, because it's what I've known. But for you to recognize it now, to say that, okay, I recognize that this is the offspring of things that have happened. This is the offspring of conditions and mindsets that I've had. Now what do I want to do with it? Now where do I want to go with it? Now what questions do I want to ask? Now what direction do I want to go in? Because so often we see our circumstances and we see our surroundings and we perpetuate it by saying, yep, that's exactly the way it is, and that's just what it is. And we perpetuate that more and more by having that idea. But as you notice that's not something that you want, that you notice that's not something that's pleasing for you, as you recognize that and value the things that you want to feel more, the expressions that you want to have, the way that you want to present to the world, as you recognize that more, you can start moving in that direction. You can make that decision right now in this moment to say, okay, I recognize this has been my mindset, this has been my thought, this has been my course of action so far. What direction do I want to go in? What direction would be more pleasing for me? What questions would help me to grow in the way that I want to grow? Because I'm obviously recognizing that there's a growth that I want that maybe I'm not recognizing in this moment, or that I haven't recognized before. But you recognize it now. And with that recognition, you can change your course of action. You can move in any direction that you want to move in. And we can be with one another on this journey. And as I again look at these topics and see the commonalities, the the ways in which these are integrating, these ideas, these wants, these desires are integrating with one another, the person again next to you, your best friend, the person that you haven't had these deep conversations with, maybe even a coworker that you're feeling is, on the same page as you, but you've never really connected. Maybe that is that moment to connect, to say, hey, if you ever want to talk, if you ever want to hang out, whatever way is the most comfortable for you, recognize that maybe there are people around you that are dealing with something similar, or have dealt with something similar, wondering something similar that you're wondering. We can evolve ourselves and grow so much, and grow together and grow closer to one another as we realize that we are not so different. And it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter what background or religion you have or you come from. We have a deeper connection that is always present. And as we value that more than just, again, these external circumstances and these external things that arise, these external differences that seem like they're so far removed from who we are, as we look past them and look at that deeper calling, that deeper connection that we all have, then we can start to really shift our perspective in the direction that we all want to shift it in. And you may not even realize you want to shift in that perspective, but humanity has been seeking answers for things for so long by looking at the outside world, by inventing things and creating things in the outside world. And of course, creation is amazing, it's beautiful, it's what we're here for, but to find happiness in those things, to use those things to create a happiness that is substantial. It's not going to be something that's present there. It's never been something that's been present outside of us. People have had their dream jobs and still taken their own lives. People have had all the money in the world and still suffered extreme depression. It doesn't matter about the things in the world. It's about that inner calling, that inner thing that connects all of us. And as we focus on that more, it not only allows us to connect more with others, but connect more with ourselves in the things that we truly desire and the way to get to those things that we truly desire. So, yeah, that's really all I have for this episode. Thank you so much for these topics. I mean, these are some really, really great topics. I feel like I can just list them off right now and kind of make that just a quick thing. But thank you so much for these topics. Again, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. And I guess, yeah, I'll just kind of list these off. So medicine is one, gender, visualization, energy, and like sources of energy, like renewable energy and things like that is what I got from it. Indigenous people, and well, just as indigenous, but I'm assuming indigenous people. Self, who are we? What is self? I mean, this is a question, again, that ties into everything. Alzheimer's and dementia, huge topics. Thank you so much for that. Cancer, also something very big. Manifestation, huge topic. Thank you for that. Manifestation is everything. I mean, all of it. Inclusion, this is something that is very much part of what I was just speaking about. Inclusion is something so essential for who we are as people. Personal growth and recognizing it. So how do you recognize when you've grown, when that personal growth has occurred? Very good topic. Thank you. Disability, that's something that's huge. I'm surprised we haven't had that yet. Book suggestions, I have been asking or been asked a lot about book suggestions and things like that, so I may just have an episode on book suggestions. Transitioning is something that's huge. I mean, we're constantly going through different transitions in our lives, and sometimes some are bigger than others, so that's a great one. Goal setting with flow, I think that's really an amazing one, where it's like we want to have goals and we want to set goals for the future, but how to do that with the flow of day-to-day life and not really knowing how things are going to pop up. That's amazing. Consistency and how to stay consistent. So how to, maybe you get on that radio station, you get on that station that you want to be on, how to stay on that station, how to maybe be more consistent with being on that station. I think that's really something that's really big. Pleasure is something that's really amazing, and something that I feel people are kind of not sure if they should seek, but pleasure is something that's so amazing, and it's part of this experience, and something that I think is a great topic. Good versus evil, that's I think that's a really interesting topic, and I'm excited to speak about that. Right choice, so making the right choice and how to know if you made the right choice. I think that's something huge and something that people live with for a long time. going with that, decision making is another topic, and living with decisions that you've made. So I mean, this is something that, I mean, people hold on to that for so long, the choices, the decisions that you made. Maybe I'll make that, both of those, like a topic in themselves, like just one topic. But huge, so many people live with doubt and guilt and fear of the things that they've done, and I think that's something that is important to talk about. Anger and frustration, picked up on some of that earlier in the conversation that I spoke about, but that's something that's so big. Anger and frustration is a way that people express things that they're feeling, and there's a lot to speak about that. Nature, I love nature and I love being outdoors, and I think that this was speaking more in the lines of connection with nature, so I'd be happy to speak about that. Making a difference or feeling powerless. So feeling powerless to make a difference in the world, or how to make a difference when you feel powerless. I think that that's a huge topic and something that many people experience as they start to want to just go into the world and be, just as helpful as possible. There's this feeling of being so small. So I think that's a great topic. Crystals, I think that's a really great topic. I mean, where I live right now, there's a lot of people that speak of crystal energy. My water that I drink is filtered through crystals. I'm not really sure. I haven't like looked into crystal energy and stuff like that, but that'd be a really great topic for me to kind of just, I guess, learn more about that as well. Body image and insecurities, huge topic. I'm again surprised this one isn't one that hasn't been brought up before, but that's something that's so big and plaguing our world right now. I mean, it's a pretty big topic. So thank you for that. Faith is another topic. I think that's a really, really amazing topic, and it's kind of insane because I spoke in the episode about religion that I'm not necessarily towards any religious denomination specifically, but faith is within everything that we do, and as we grow in faith in different ways, you have faith in gravity, like it's gonna, like we have faith in different things, but maybe you don't call it faith, but there's faith in so many different things. And I think as we kind of explore that, maybe there's just a different dynamic of that we can start to kind of integrate. Water, kind of spoke about that earlier. We drink water, we'll die without water. Water is the most dominant thing in our body. It's the most dominant thing on the planet. There must be something, really incredible about water that's important, obviously. Loving more and how to love more, I think that's something that's so incredible, and I think that's a journey within our lives to love more, because love is truly, like unconditional love. It's expansive, it's infinite, it's so much. So to love more, I think it's something that you'll constantly realize more and more degrees of love that you'll experience. But I think that that's a great topic to speak about. Mandela effect, that's another topic. I actually just scrolled past a movie called Mandela Effect, and I think that's really amazing. And I've heard some things, and I have friends that have kind of spoken about it. There's conversations that have been about it, but it'd be cool to kind of speak more about it, like kind of dive into what some of those different realities are, because apparently it's like a shifting in reality, like a alternate reality where like certain things are not the same as they were in another one, and some people recognizing this change and some people not recognizing it. So very interesting topic, excited about that. And the last one is radical change or shifting, and I think this is more of those times when we have a moment in our lives, whether it's a radical understanding of something, a new adventure that's happening. I was just speaking about moving. There's just like something that's happening that's a radical shift or change that's happening within your concept of life or understanding or where you want to be or who you are, that's starting to move you in a direction that's very different than where you were before. Maybe it's going to be something that causes family and friends to wonder, who is this person? Or maybe it's going to be, like you're just going to leave your job that you've been at for 15 years to adventure into something else. Radical shift and change that happens with us, it's something that comes along with a lot of different levels to it. So wondering about the effects of that, how to move forward with that, how to stay secure with that. These are all topics that I'm just thinking about as I think about this topic. So there's a lot to this. I love each and every one of these topics. Thank you again for sending these. If you have any more that you want to send, everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the Instagram or social media pages. Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter @everysunpodcast, and the Facebook group @everysunpodcast as well. And send any topics or thoughts or ideas or anything. I love them all. Thank you so much for sending them. That's all I got for this episode. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.